Hello, I'm George Gonzalez, and I'm obsessed with making games. And today we're gonna level up, or we're gonna gain experience. And I have this idea, and since we kind of started going with this, let's make a Marvel Rival game. I really want to take it all the way. I'm hesitant because it's not my field, and I know take a, it might distract from what I'm doing, and so it might be a distraction for me as a developer. But I really want to share what I would do if I were to start over in some scenarios because there's things that you can't unlearn, and so it's really hard. But this is the best I can do to put myself in a position where I'm learning again certain things. Some things will go by faster because I already know the engine, so I could do Unreal. But I wanna, yeah, I'll do this. We'll see how it goes. If I need to focus on my main tasks, I will. But for now, this will be enough. So let's say again, we're trying to make a Marvel Rivals game, and I know nothing about making games, right? Or at least how I would take the journey to go to make a Marvel's Rival game. And so we're not starting with multiplayer, and we're gonna do everything. So the main goal objective is to make a Marvel Rivals game in single player, to learn all the things that we need in single player, and then add multiplayer as another. And it'll probably it might probably take us a year. And I'm gonna make all the videos about it. And so where would I start? And I already showed you we had the template. This is the Marvel Rivals. We're in Unity 6. I have this first person shooter. I hit play. It's a Unity template. It comes with a first person shooter. Boom, boom, boom. Done, right? So this is gonna be, we have an enemy and we can die. I can fall off. We have this north south if we want to, and it has the enemies in there. So we are gonna come on. We are gonna retrofit this to be our Marvel Rivals single player game, and we're gonna level up, right? And so in order to do that, we have to be like level 3 or so. We're at level 1. What we're doing right now is stacking up skills, so that even if I don't finish, I will have a lot of skills under my belt, and you will have a bunch of YouTube videos about how to go from 0 to level 2 or 3, how to make your own game, how to go about it. And the cool thing is that if I wanted to go back and do it faster, you could. You just do lesson 1 through 10 a lot faster, right? So if I wanted to learn 2 things a day, I would spend more time. So that's the whole point of this, is to remove any of the questions from making games so that you know exactly what you need to do. You don't wander, you just get to work and get learning. And one of the things that I want to talk about today, that'll be the foundation for all these videos, is how we go about learning. Because a lot of times the first step, which is okay to do, is to copy, right? To grab something and figure out how it works, maybe pull it apart, redo it yourself, copy it line by line. But then how do you go from copying something to knowing how it works and to actually being able to implement it yourself? And so that's what we're gonna want to learn how to do, is you want to be able to own it. Yes, you start by copying, but then, like, fake it till you make it type of thing. Okay, so we're gonna fake it, but then we need to make it, right? And so that's why the goals matter. In my scenario, we have Marvel Rivals. So we're not gonna go into game design. I'm not gonna try to reinvent the wheel. I'm just gonna copy paste a Marvel game, Marvel Rivals, and I'm not gonna publish it. I'm just gonna make prototypes, maybe post it somewhere. I don't know. It doesn't matter. But the main thing is, like, what are the not really shortcuts, but you could think of them as shortcut because they're a way of learning faster. That's the shortcut, is that you're not taking the time to search for things. I could start from scratch and I could figure out how to do it, but then that would take forever, and that's why templates exist. But even if there wasn't a template, what I could just do is start with, yeah, how do I create a player controller? So we're gonna go over the same things that you would do, even if it was from scratch. The cool thing is that this game has it all done, so we can play test. At the end of the video, I'll show you what we would do if it was from scratch, and you'll see the difference between the two. Okay, so we have this game, we have this player, and I was like, okay, if I wanted to make a Emma Frost or Magneto, Wolverine, what would I need? Because right now this is a first-person shooter, and Marvel Rivals is a third-person shooter, right? And so we need to first learn how to do that. See right here, do we just zoom the camera out? We could. I could come in here and figure out the camera and zoom the camera out a little bit. But then you're like, oh, I don't know where it is. And then I move the camera and let's see if that happens. I don't even know if this is going to work. Okay, let me see. Okay, the camera is a little bit farther back now, right? Let me exhaust it. Oh, now the camera is exhausted. Oh, that's cool. Okay, so I could move the camera back and animate it that way, right? But it wouldn't feel right because then everything is offset. Let's try it. Okay, so let me see. So if I go here, so now, yeah, the gun still, yeah, it's weird. So let's not do that. Okay, I don't even remember what we did. Oh no, that's bad. Okay, let me make sure I didn't break anything. The other thing you want is to use plastic, probably source control. And it seems, yeah, no matter what, the camera is fine. So what I decided to do, I Googled third-person camera in Unity assets, and this is what I found. And I want to show you something that I learned. So this asset that gives you basically everything you need. Why isn't it playing? Could be a. It's really nice. And it gives you in here. There's a first-person controller and a third-person character, and it shows you how to add it. It's super cool. It has everything. And the funny thing is that, and we'll dive into this as we progress, because then there'll be the shooting part and the over the headshots and figure out how to see everything. But anyways, this is really good. The problem was when I installed it, I realized that it was not really Unity 6 friendly. So you have to be careful, figure out what's compatible, make sure to read the descriptions before you install it. And then I realized I was like, oh my gosh, really? Why? And then in here it says, important note, find the latest release as a local package here. So there's another package for Unity 6, which is what we have. And so that's good news. That's why oftentimes you don't want to be in the latest Unity version. And that's this one right here. And I did that. I downloaded this one. It's the same thing. It's just that they probably made some fixes to be with the latest. And it's called Starter Assets Character Controllers, URPC. So they're like, the naming is a little bit different. That's all. So we have that installed in here. And that's why you see this folder here, is because this is how I would tackle there's no scripting. And I'm going to show you what I did. Like, I was like, I wonder if it'll let me just drag and drop the player. And this is what happens. I want to show you. I have the main camera, the player follow, and the armor. And all I did is drag and drop. What I like to do is I drag and drop it here. I destroy this and don't save. And so then the other scene it's already there. But anyway, so I did that. And as you can see, I have him right here. And then I'll show you what happens, because I was like, I wonder if I turn off that camera and turn this one on, what will happen? And it was pretty cool to see that it still kind of functioned, like it's not completely. Now we have a third-person camera. And you know how much work I did? A little. I just imported stuff. But like now we have, now we have, the enemy doesn't detect us, obviously, because it's a different player. So the first thing I did was that drag and drop and say, is that gonna work, or is it gonna just fall through the ground? So we have about 999 errors. Collapse it. You have 24. Okay. So this is what I would do. Is I say, okay, the rig works. I probably want it to be a little bit faster. I got to figure out this thing. The UI probably needs it. So the compass. As you can see, compass. So the compass script. Where is the compass? And so then in here is a compass, and is this UI thing. Let me get it working. So we have the compass and the compass background. If you go back here, oh no, compass, and there's a script. See in here, it has the marker direction, and it says that it's having problems. And so what I would do now is just figure out the errors, right? And this is where you start learning, right? And so you have to, in order to not get yourself trapped in these, like, because you can tinker with this forever, right? I could spend 100 hours figuring this out. And looking at this, well, not that, I don't need this because this is a bug. It's 28 right here. So it's trying to find the player controller. See, so, and this I don't like so much. But I guess you could. I hate find first object by type, like, because that has to go through your whole level and figure out where the player is, and then you have to be aware that it's like the main problem with this, and this is things that I can't unlearn, is that you have to make sure, like, what you can't call anything until this thing finds the player controller, or you have to be aware of that. But it's okay, I guess. So we have to do another object type. But anyways, the other thing that I would do is, like, do I really need a compass to find all the enemies? Maybe, maybe not, right? So what is my goal? My goal is right now to get the character controller to work in this game, right? Swap it in. That's the goal. And so what you need to do when you're learning things, you need to set up an actionable goal that you can measure, right? Because you need to measure yourself every time you do something. Because now you can, after you do this, you say, I know how to put in a player controller in this game, and in my genre, right? Because I'm trying to learn how to do a Marvel Rivals game. I need to learn how to do this, because once we have this third character controller, we can say, okay, now we can choose after that, and we'll do that later. But you have to take one bite at a time. Like, you can't start going crazy. So the other thing we can do is remove the compass. I don't need a compass. One thing I would do is I would put in a backlog, figure out compass, because that is a distraction. You don't need it for your game. Okay, so let's do the other ones. The compass, HUD, weapon manager. So that's the weapons. We might not even do weapons. Okay, again, let's try to find the weapons. I think this one is good. This one's like a higher priority, but not the most. This one is a game HUD. So we have weapon HUD manager, ammo. Okay, because it counts the ammo and stuff. Okay, so the thing is that you're learning what what's it called, dependencies are for the character controller. If I take out the character controller, what breaks? Well, it's trying to do, this is the weapon HUD manager. So now I can start writing things down or putting them somewhere and say, okay, compass. Eventually I want to get to that, but I can turn it off now. Weapon HUD, I can turn it off, but that one's like a higher priority, because eventually we're going to do different UIs. We're going to do different spells or different magic or whatever it is. Like Iron Man shoots like a blaster, Magneto does something different. And so we're probably going to mess with this weapon thing. And for the sake of simplicity, we're going to have every different power be a different weapon and call it good. Okay. And maybe, yeah. And then we have the health. We'll see. And then what else is breaking? Jetpack counter. So this jetpack is for like sprinting. Another high priority. We might change it because this is for the shift. Player health bar. And then when you disable these and you press shift, I wonder if more things will break. And so then you have to take into account, it's like, okay, if I hide everything, it's not gonna help. I need to just fix these. But some of these are like reference. It's just trying to find the controller. And so the quickest fix might be in here where it says player weapon manager, or well, the weapon's not so much, but like compass. We could set up the thing to be, what is this player? Okay, so let's think about it. Okay, so we have this player, and this guy has player character controller. This script is a script it's looking for, right? In here. Okay, and so what we're gonna do is, let me see, where's the player character controller in this one? Armature, camera. I think it's in this one, player armature. So third person controller. So we're gonna change this to be oh, and then see that this is where I don't agree too much with it. Let me double check. Make sure there's nothing else that it's dependent on. Okay. Oh yeah, so it's just looking at the transform. So this is all like, that's why I don't like doing this. It's because it's very, okay, so let's do player third. Oh, and the other thing is that it's using a namespace, right? FPS UI. And so the other thing is this third player controller is using something else. Let me check. And this is something that I would not know. I would have to learn or find out. And this is where having previous experience helps. Right? I know that this is a namespace. The namespace means that it's hidden within this. It's not public. And sorry if I'm not good with terminology. Okay, so the way we fix this is using starter assets. Oh, and it's not going to let me. Show potential fixes. Okay. Let me see. Dang it. This is why I don't like finding stuff. Move speed. Dang it. Let me see if it'll let me here. See, it's not letting me. I don't like this. Namespace. Using starter. No, it's not letting me. Oh. And we'll learn something new. Require character controller. Oh, character controller. That's the okay. So this will work. I think. Okay, character controller, because it's a okay. So what happened is that this is type of character controller in here. So it'll have a character controller. Let me show you in here, this. And this is more, let me see, because this should have a character controller. I guess yeah, right here, see? So like character controller is a generic one. And I think this will work for either one. So even if I have the other one. So this is actually a better way of doing it because it's just looking for the transform. Where the player's at. And then it just tracks it for the compass. Okay, so we're going to see that the compass should be fixed now. And we can go in here, we can hit play. Oh, I hit it. We're in dumb. Okay, hold on. Let's turn it on for the sake of where is the compass? Oh. Mm-hmm. Okay, we have the compass. Let's see if it fixed it. Probably broke something else. We don't have the weapons anymore. We're just kind of right now we're learning by see the compass. Look, oh my gosh, it works. It's a miracle. It's fun. It's fun. I think this process keeps game development fun, right? Because you have the template. I have a bunch of stuff that I have I have not touched anything. I did like 10 minutes of work and I have something that feels really satisfying. Because there's my game. I spent hours and I still don't have anything to show for it, at least sometimes. So yeah, so this is nice. Okay, so now let's see. We have 19. Yay. Okay, so we went from 24 to 19. And I mean, I might not do all of them on this video, but we'll keep picking at it, right? Like this is what I would do is you go through these and say, okay, like what is this tracking? And because the code is done very well, at least like the naming convention, you're learning about naming convention because this is telling me exactly what it does. Like there is no question, there's no ambiguity with this. Okay, so let's see. This is the FPS. Notifications. Yeah, I don't need notifications. What? No, not that one. Dang it. Give me notifications. Where's the notifications? Notification. Oh, excuse me. Okay, let's see. Vertical layout group, HUD, notifications. No. The other thing I can do is say write. So for scripts, you have to type it in all the same. HUD manager. There you go. So you have to type in the whole script. It won't find it by like yeah. So if you want a specific script that's in here, you have to type it in exactly as is. Player, feedback, flash HUD, ring counter, notification. There you go. Objective, maybe also. I don't know. Let me see what all these are having problems with because they're probably looking for that character controller. Player weapons managed. Okay, we don't need weapons, so yeah, don't care about that. Objective, HUD. Okay, let's see. Notification, game HUD. Oh, jetpack counter. Okay. Objective crosshair. I don't know if I want that because it's not until. Okay, let me see. Jetpack counter. Jetpack. Sorry. Okay, and even though I'm like, what is it called? Game HUD. There's a jetpack counter. I don't need that, but okay, so this one's looking for the jetpack to fill. Oh yeah, follow player. What? The sun is following me? What the? Where is this? What the heck's going on? This. Oh, so what's going on is this follow like so when you look if you look up and we're gonna do it, what will happen is this is gonna follow the player. You could just do the main camera. What is it doing? Actors manager. Like so usually I do a similar thing for my I call it face player. I guess follow player is one. But I do it with the camera. Like I just grab the camera. So in here, actors manager. What? Update. Yeah, I don't understand why it's so weird. Why is it? So basically, you're trying to have that thing face the sun, face the player, so that when you look up, you'll see it the same, regardless of where you're going from. So it's just following you. So that way, it's facing you this every time. But this, I would definitely player transform. So I'm trying to. Oh my gosh, what is this? If there is not null, do this, else enabled false. Okay, so it turns it off if it doesn't work. But holy cow. I mean, okay, so yeah, I don't know. Maybe someone will. And I'll do, there's always a camera, maybe not, but I would say let's do this. M player transform is equal to camera.main. I guess this does like a certain fine stuff of main.transform. And this will just work for everything. Even in VR, this works. Like, it's so weird because this is just easier. And okay, if someone like is a Unity Pro and you're watching this and you're like cringing because I'm an idiot, let me know. I just don't know why you have to like do all this. Right? Like, I mean, I wouldn't even do a find. I just like reference the transform in the scene. But then you might have other reasons why, because you might spawn things and whatnot. But so this will work. You'll see. We'll look up. Let's do that next. Okay. Okay. So if I was learning, I wouldn't know that, right? But you would go in here and say follow player. What does it do? And then in here, instead of find objects.actors, you might do a lot of research. So you might spend a couple hours researching what actors managers are. You might learn what that is. But at the end of the day, please use your brain. Okay. The main thing is you got to see, okay, it's like, what is it that it wants? Okay. This thing is all it's doing is updating the position. Oh, wait. See, and this is why I'm like, I'm assuming things. This is literally following the player plus the offset. So it's doing this. It's not doing this, which is what I thought it would do. Original offset, player transform, but it does the same thing. Maybe like the camera is a little bit above ground, so it's not perfect, but it doesn't matter. So all this is doing is saying, hey, move it with the player. Okay, so we look at what it's doing, and we say, okay, all we need is a transform. Okay, and all I did is you might have done something different. How can I get the player transform? This is the one that I do to follow the player usually. I just grab the camera. Just that's it. That's always the first camera. So if you have multiple cameras, the first camera that the player is looking through is this one. So if you want to reference a specific way to reference the camera, you can. This works. Okay. So let's test it. And let's look at the sun, which is really weird. I don't know why. And that's something that I might have to learn. But see this camera? Okay, now we're going to see how it moves with the player. If I look up, I can't even, yeah, it's over there. See? Right there. It's I can't even click on it. Right behind my face up here in the first person view. So it moves with me. I don't know, that's kind of weird. I'm okay if it just stays in place. The other thing is it can just tilt it. I don't know why. Okay, anyways, we're down to 17. But every time you do one of these, you learn something new, especially if you don't know what you're doing. Mess around. Like, even if I have to delete this whole thing, it doesn't matter. Like, we're just learning, right? I could just check the checkbox. I learned about the sun following me for some reason. It is what it is. But whatever one of these, the crosshair. Okay, let's see. Crosshair. Probably not want that. Okay. Most of these seem to be HUD stuff. And we can figure some more of these out. Let me see. These are the most important ones, probably the ones that happen 2,954 times. Let's tackle some of those because these are all health stuff, right? Like they're looking for the player or for some kind of UI of the player. So we're gonna just anything HUD related. We're just not. It doesn't matter. Okay. Let's see what happens if I remove all those. And okay, we have 6. Ooh, we are, dude. I fixed the whole game. No, but all those things were for a reason, right? So I need to start. That's why I said make sure to write things down or put it on a backlog because then you have to enable them because then you're not going to be able to find them. Game menu manager. Let's say what the game menu manager needs. And as you go with these, you'll be able to understand how it works. Or like, what are the things what are the dependencies? What do we need? Okay. So what happens? Oh, we're trying to say, hey, we need the health. Where's the player health? A component health. This player input handler and frame counter. So health and frame counter have to stay. Health bar. Okay, let's try that. What are the other things? Jetpack counter again is bugging. This is a jetpack counter. It's not. It's looking for jetpack. Let's see where the jetpack is actually. You'll see that the player has a script called jetpack. Okay, is this the VFX? I wonder if this is all just like, this might be all audio and VFX. It's just visual feedback, not necessarily that it does anything. There's the player controller. Use. Okay, so what you're trying to do at this point is figure out, okay, like it might seem easy because I already know what's going on, and for you it might be harder. But this is where homework starts, right? That this is where it starts getting hard, and when you gain an XP, right? So at first it's fun and games, you're just turning off stuff and figuring things out, but it's not going to be easy, right? And so let's see what else. Let's see. So we have this jetpack, and at first I'm trying to see like if I can retrofit most of this stuff in here. Like if I put this jetpack. Wait, what? Oh, it gave me the audio. If I put this jetpack in here, will it let me use it? Right. So like, let's go look. Okay. Let's see. We have 11, so we went up because we enabled some stuff. The health. So health is huge because we want to, again, the goal is to integrate this third-person shooter so that you can control it and you can fight that enemy. So we need to go, we disrupted the game, we took apart the player, we added a new player, we need to fix all the things so that the player not only moves, but can get killed by the enemy and can get respawned. Because that's the other thing. It's probably going to be, I want to make sure I can win, lose. I need to be able to shoot as well. So we're going to add the gun eventually. But there's a lot of things that we need to do. And it's not going to respawn. See, there's a lot of problems. And the sun's going to keep falling with it too. Do we need jetpacks? That's the thing. It's like these jetpacks, it's like, why? There's certain players or characters in Marvel Rivals that fly. And so being able to change what you have and adapt might be a good thing. The next big one that I want to do will probably be health. After that, we have to figure out, okay, what is it that the enemy is trying to detect, right? So there's things that are not errors, but also that are not working. So if I go in, where is it? If I go where the enemy is, right? Here, the enemy has to have some kind of detection. So use the detection module. Let's see. Detection module, where are you? Okay, so detection is looking, and we can look at that. But the idea is two things that have to be big is like no errors, and then the enemy has to be able to kill you. You need to be able to respawn it. So like, okay, what's respawning the other? As you notice, I didn't just delete the player. I just have it here. We can go back and forth. So we have, and then we have to have these other things, interactors like picking up health and stuff, work with the player. In-game menu, line 42. So I would definitely, the health part is the easy, well, not easiest, but the next one that I would tackle that would be more serious. So I'm not wasting time doing these weird things. Player input handler. Do I need this? Right now, well, let's see what happens. I definitely have to like improve this. Right? Okay, so we have now 9. Back down to 9. Okay. Health bar. Jetpack. So now it's giving this thing a problem. Player grounded. Player controller. Okay. So, for example, with this player controller, I just found out that this one is tracking if it's grounded. So maybe we need to figure out a way to replicate that, right? It's grounded. So create this Boolean and see how it has references to when it's grounded. And so in here, we will have like different scenarios for when it's like a ground check. So we could technically copy paste this and add it. So I'll show you. And we can look into it, and there's probably going to be variables that we need, but let's pin this. And then we said this is a player controller. I might want to do my own version of this character controller, third person controller. I don't think it'll let me override it. But then we have to think, oh, look, grounded layers, grounded, grounded. Oh, I don't have to do anything. It's just called something else. So I'll show you how we can fix it. We don't need any checks. It already has that. So detection module, the detection. What was it that we have to jetpack? Yeah, for the jetpack. Oh, it's not gonna let, please. Yeah, it's not gonna let me. That's the other thing, is I don't think this one has the ground control. It's grounded. So the next, the homework is figure out how to get the third person controller to work. Figure out how to do the health bar. Figure out maybe the jetpack, or maybe don't do the jetpack and see what other things we can do. But the main focus, again, if I want to cut cost, right? I'll figure out the jetpack later, because you can do that yourself rather than trying to figure out what this is. The nice thing is that this has the UI already attached to it. Health bar, FPS, trying to see HUD, weapons manager, pick up weapons, and then jetpack. This is notifications, and kind of the beginning, middle, up. And that is the main thing. Okay, now I told you, what if I were to do this from scratch, right? Like let's say I don't have a template. What we would do is we would pick up the asset, and go to the assets, example, third person, right? Because there's always assets. And so then you have this third person character controller. I would start here, right? So you can start with the ground up. It's like, okay, I have this character controller. So instead of learning how to shoot and whatnot, the next thing is like, okay, how can I change the character model? Because I'm going to have to swap between 20, 30 different characters. How do I do that? And that's the next step, right? But in the same way, it's like, how do I add health? So maybe instead of creating, like, seeing how the other template works, I would start from scratch, right? I would say, okay, I need to add health. How do I add health to this guy? There's certain tutorials, but you can do a health script. So you can start writing scripts. And the way I would start is say, okay, I need to write down health. I need to figure out health. And then I need to figure out how to change the controllers of the character. And we would start figuring out how to make it fly, how to make it have skills, and add those. So you can have an additive. If you like to venture more into code and doing it from scratch, this is how I learned Unity, right? Like I needed to get somewhere and I needed to figure it out. So it's like between ChatGPT, YouTube, you can figure out most of the stuff on how to write things for this character controller, and dive into how the animator works, the character. And that's what I would do, is I'll now say, okay, health, enemies, or like shooting and health bar, and then adding an enemy. Okay, the next, and so those are the things, but then it would be from scratch, and it takes a little bit longer. It's just a matter of how you prefer to learn, right? The whole point of this is for you to understand the concept enough to make it your own, because there is no, I mean, there are packages that are closer, maybe like a magic or character blind controller, or we could look. I haven't done enough research, but I bet there's probably a template that gives me more or closer to a Marvel Rivals type game. Yes, there are multiplayer assets, but we won't go into that yet. But the whole point is to learn and to figure out, okay, I have a goal, I need to have sub goals, and I need to figure out how to get there. And then getting there is where you get the experience. And so it's very important that you meet your goals, that you, no matter how hard, it's like you're gonna figure out, either you start from scratch and you figure out how to add health and add stuff to a character controller, or you figure out how to fix the game mode and start diving into the systems that are already created. Either one works, because you're going to do both in a company. So if you want to do both, you can, right? Because you can use a template, and even if you don't have a template, you can start from scratch. But Unity allows you to do that. That's what I like about Unity, is that I can start as blank as possible if I wanted to, right? I could drag and drop these three things in an empty scene and then start from there. That is the beginning, right? And then because I wanted to address this issue. Because someone mentioned it's like, okay, like, yeah, you start by copy pasting and then you learn by doing and you slowly progress. But in order to progress, you need knowledge that you don't have. And so you're either gonna investigate in the Unity editor, or you're gonna investigate on YouTube, ChatGPT, or you're gonna have a mentor, right? And that's why I have Endgame Devs, where I help developers finish their games. So you have a lot of resources, and this YouTube is to show you how to use that so that you can finish your games instead of just doing things for the sake of doing, right? You have a goal, you need to learn something, and you need tangible proof that you've learned something, that you're making progress. So it's good for you, feedback, and it's good so that you can also be hireable. So that at the end of this, you'll have hundreds of things that you've learned. And even if you need to make a game, you at least have prototypes and you have things that you learn, and you feel confident about those skills because you did it, you learned them. And so as you go out and seek tutorials, make sure that you're aware of what are they taking you to where you need to be. And if not, what are you going to do to bridge the gap? So if you like these videos, please subscribe and like. If there's anything that you need, comment below. We'll see you next week where we talk about more about leveling up and taking this character and actually getting it working. And we'll start looking at shooting maybe on health bar and see what I've learned. Okay, we'll see you next week.